Correct people, we greet you now. Welcome now to this our channel. If na the first time when I dey waka jam this our channel, make una follow us, make una like our page, and make una help us dey share our videos. Una know say na ogbonge updated news, breaking news, correct tori na we dey carry come for una for here. So if una never subscribe to our YouTube channel, make una rush go subscribe and also turn on the notification bell so that anytime we be like say we drop updates, una go dey notified. Anyway, my people, make we enter the updates and the tori wey we carry come for una like this. Make una watch.
My people, make una come hear some reasons why ECOWAS military intervention e dey bad for Nigeria. ECOWAS, my people, no be small thing o. Una hear say since when this Niger coup wahala start, President Tinubu wey be ECOWAS chairman don be dey plan unto the ECOWAS level wey e get, make e take mobilize the military from Niger go fight against them before senators dem come remove hand say they no sign that kind matter for am. Right now I wan play una one video now, make una watch the reasons, some of the reasons wey be say due to say that intervention take place, how e for take worry Naija, how e for take bad for Naija. Make una watch the video and hear all about am.
As the deadline given to the military junta in Niger to restore constitutional order and restore democratically elected President Mohamed Bazoum expired on Sunday, the military junta in Niger have closed the Niger airspace, instituting a no-fly zone. On the part of the ECOWAS, there's also a no-fly zone over Niger. The fact that the military junta in Niger have closed their airspace shows a readiness of the soldiers in Niger to engage militarily. The chairman of ECOWAS and president of Nigeria has also called for an emergency meeting with governors of the northern states of Nigeria that borders Niger. What will the outcome of this meeting be? When will ECOWAS intervene in Niger? Here are 6 reasons why military intervention in Niger will be a bad occurrence for the West African sub-region. Number 1, the coup in Niger is not a first, but one thing that is a first is the fact that there is a coalition of at least 4 countries right now that also have military coup succeeding, and they have come together to form a bloc against the rest of the ECOWAS sub-region. This is the first time this is happening in West Africa. So it is not a case of just going against Niger alone. It is a case of going against Niger, Mali, Burkina Faso, and Guinea. Many may argue that these countries do not possess great military power to tackle ECOWAS, but ECOWAS must show caution because the military might of this group of 4 countries is not the only thing that the ECOWAS military intervention should be careful about. The fact that these 4 countries may get backup from Russia, or particularly the Wagner group in this coalition, should be a cause or a source of concern for the ECOWAS military intervention. Number 2, the military junta in these 4 countries are relatively young and, as such, relatively exuberant. Recall the incidents that happened with coups in Nigeria. They tend to be very, very brutal, considering that they are led by very, very young military officers that have no supervisory powers over them, no regulatory powers over them, as the decision of military action ultimately rests on them. Young, exuberant military officers tend to act before they think, and this may not augur well for the ECOWAS sub-region. Number 3, the military junta in these 4 countries, Guinea, Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger, were US trained. And if you know it, US training is no joke. Any attempt to go against these 4 countries that have military intelligence and military training from the United States of America would turn out to be very bloody very quickly. The 4th reasons why military intervention in Niger would be a bad thing to do would be the fact that all of the 4 military junta that have formed a coalition against ECOWAS are backed by the Wagner Group and Russia. Going by what has happened in Syria and in every other locations where there has been a run-in between Russia and the United States of America, going by what happened or what is happening in Ukraine, one should be very wary of the backings of Russia or the backings of the Wagner Group. Nobody should just dismiss these 4 countries trained by US, backed by Russia, with a wave of the hand. 5. The weak economy of West Africa is a source of concern, considering that military interventions are very expensive and capital-intensive ventures to undertake. And the leader of the West African sub-region, leader of ECOWAS, which is Nigeria, which actually foots over 70% of the bill of ECOWAS, also has a very struggling economy as we speak. So, should there be military intervention in Niger, 70% or the bulk of the cost of war, of this military intervention, will be borne by Nigeria. And considering Nigeria's already weak and struggling economy, the sufferings that have been imposed on Nigerians by the removal of fuel subsidy and the increase in the pump price of petrol and sundry events, it will be very unwise to take Nigeria into war at the moment, particularly because the tendency is there for the Western powers that appear to be pushing the hand of Tinubu to go to war with Niger. The tendency is there for them to abandon Nigeria and abandon ECOWAS, abandon Tinubu when push comes to shove. Because particularly considering the fact that the likelihood is high that the same powers that are pushing Tinubu to intervene militarily may be the same powers that are defending and supporting the military junta in Niger. The 6th reason why a military intervention in Niger right now would be a horrible idea is the fact that West Africa is struggling with terrorist groups. Military intervention in Niger right now will be open sesame for the operations of terrorist groups in West Africa. It will be a free-for-all. There will be a destabilization of the ECOWAS sub-region that is already struggling economically and politically. There seems to be a grand plan somewhere behind the scene. Some forces, very powerful forces, are pulling strings behind the scene to make West Africa like Libya after the NATO forces and the Western powers took out Gaddafi of Libya. West Africa should be very, very wary. The attempts by the Western powers to destabilize West Africa must be resisted. Selfish interest must be thrown out the window, and the interest of West Africans, and indeed the interest of Africans, must be considered first. Many West Africans are on edge as to what will happen next. There seems to be dead silence on both sides right now. According to what we saw from the Commissioner on Security in ECOWAS, he said they will not make known the exact time and the exact moment in which ECOWAS will strike, and that indeed the military intervention plan was indeed ready. So West Africans are on edge right now. Nobody knows what will happen next and when the military intervention will happen exactly.
My people, and the updates wey we carry come for now like this video. So how una see am, how una reason am, make una drop una comment and make una no forget to like and share. Una do well. See you in our next video.